Well, it looks like Angel Reese. Well, it looks like she's just been caught in what could certainly be taken as in a lie. All right? All these things that she says she has dealt with over the last year, all these encounters of racism.
Angel Reese just accidentally exposed one of the biggest lies in WNBA history. In a moment she probably wishes could be erased from existence. Her own words contradicted weeks of explosive claims about racism and hostile fans. This wasn't a PR stunt, it was a candid slip that shattered a carefully constructed narrative. What exactly did she let slip on live television? And how did this single admission unravel a multi-week controversy, revealing a truth far more shocking than anyone anticipated? Prepare to discover how the narrative crumbled piece by piece, starting with one unexpected confession.
Angel Reese, the most coddled, babied professional athlete in all of sports, continues to be the most babied and coddled professional athlete in all of sports, continues to have her peers say, "You go, girl. You be unapologetically yourself. Don't worry how rude, how arrogant, and how disrespectful you are. Don't worry about all the lies that you perpetrate. Don't worry about that."
For weeks, the WNBA season had been overshadowed by a furious storm of accusations. Racism, the target, the fiercely loyal and passionate fans of the Indiana Fever, especially during games against the Chicago Sky. The claims were visceral, detailed, and circulated relentlessly across social media and mainstream news. There were grave allegations of racial slurs screamed at Angel Reese during critical free throws, disturbing reports of racist noises echoing through the arena, and even a deeply troubling claim of a direct confrontation outside a team hotel, where a white fan allegedly blocked Reese and her teammates, hurling a vile slur. These accusations weren't just isolated incidents. They formed a potent narrative, portraying a toxic, hostile environment that threatened the very spirit of the game.
Remember the guy that I guess, was out there waiting for him supposedly, and when the team was coming out, and of course we saw footage of that, and there was nothing malicious to it whatsoever that anybody could see. And then of course the Indiana Fever fans were yelling racist things or making racist noises out around the court. WNBA did an investigation, found nothing.
The pressure on the WNBA was immense, demanding immediate action to protect its stars and address what was widely presented as a systemic issue. This escalating tension, fueled by public outcry and media amplification, set the stage for an unprecedented investigation, forcing the league into a desperate search for answers amidst the growing storm.
It is embarrassing. It's absolutely embarrassing. It is absolutely embarrassing. And the fact is that originally it's, oh yeah, you know, we're looking towards everything. Then they had to double down. They actually redacted this statement. They redacted a statement. They redacted the statement saying we're looking at everything, saying no, we're actually not looking at most of the stuff. We're looking at a lie spread on social media that went viral. We are looking into a literal lie spread on social media that got spoken into fact. We're looking at a lie.
Under immense pressure, the WNBA launched an investigation of extraordinary depth. This wasn't a superficial glance. It was a painstaking, methodical deep dive into every possible angle of the swirling accusations. Investigators interviewed hundreds of fans who occupied the exact sections where the alleged racist incident supposedly occurred, scrutinizing their accounts for any shred of evidence.
Yeah, I think we agree. I think we're in compliance with them, with the league, and obviously there's no room or space in our game for hate. So we're complying with everything that's going on.
Coach, when did you become aware that there was hate speech that happened?
I think when everyone else did. I think that it's something that we heard about, and so again, we're just forthcoming with anything that the league is able to do investigation-wise.
They meticulously questioned team staff from both the Indiana Fever and Chicago Sky, probing for first-hand observations or player complaints made during the games. Arena personnel were subjected to rigorous questioning, and security footage from every conceivable camera angle was reviewed frame by painstaking frame, searching for visual confirmation of any misconduct. Furthermore, audio recordings from broadcast equipment were painstakingly analyzed, hoping to capture any audible evidence of the alleged racial slurs or hateful chants.
I didn't think these things would be a topic this year. It's certainly not at this point, But here we go again.
Because now Indiana Fever players, all right, are getting called into question. Indiana Fever fans are getting called into question today. We got one post on here where somebody's literally calling, they're talking about there should be a boycott. That's what it really is, of the All-Star game over player safety.
After this exhaustive, unprecedented effort, the league's conclusion was not just startling, but definitive. Absolutely nothing. Zero evidence. The reports were not substantiated. Every single accusation, despite being amplified and accepted as fact by many, dissolved under the weight of objective scrutiny. It meant that all the outrage, all the condemnation, all the public shaming had been built entirely on speculation and unverified claims, leaving an entire fan base unfairly maligned.
How to unfold.
The league is also taking a big L because there's no apologies to any fans whatsoever on this totally BS statement released by the WNBA. Yeah, you found nothing. That's great. That's accurate. Guess who told you you would find nothing? The entire Indiana Fever fan base said you weren't going to find anything. But this league that has never turned a profit decided to accuse their own fans.
As the WNBA's damning findings were about to be revealed, another critical piece of the puzzle unexpectedly surfaced, delivered by an unsuspecting source, Chicago Sky coach Tyler Marsh. When directly questioned by reporters about the supposed racist incidents targeting his team, Marsh's response was chillingly casual, almost nonchalant. He admitted that his players, the very individuals enduring this alleged torrent of abuse, only learned about the controversy after the games had ended, and critically only from social media.
Three-time BET Sports Woman of the Year, Angel Reese, says she doesn't pay attention to what folks say about her online because no one has ever said a negative word about her in person. Uh-oh. So what have you been talking about for the last 17 or 18 months? Uh-oh. I hope she realizes she just admitted this and did so on camera with audio. Yeah, nobody's ever going to let her let this down now.
Consider the profound implications of this admission. The coach of the visiting team, the man responsible for the safety and well-being of his athletes, the first person who would undoubtedly be informed of any on-court or in-arena harassment, discovered these incidents, not through player reports or official channels, but on Twitter and Instagram. Not a single player from either team reported hearing anything racist during the actual game.
For you, Angel, tonight you were extremely efficient, played with a lot of poise and confidence tonight. For for all the scrutiny you do receive online and stuff of that nature, what kind of messages a game like this send to them, as well as just the kind of momentum that this could build for you throughout the season?
Yeah, obviously don't worry about what's going on online. I get so much love in person. I haven't ever had a negative encounter in person ever. And I've been going through this for 3 years. I've never had an encounter in person that was negative. So people online are behind a keyboard for a reason, and I don't worry about that stuff. I trust my work. My teammates trust me. And I was telling Milla today, like, she felt like she was having a rough day, and I was like, how many times have I had a rough day? And you picked me up. So don't get down on yourself. I know my teammates have my back, my coaches have my back, and that's all that really matters. I don't have to prove anything to anybody but myself and my teammates.
Second row on the left.
Angel, I know tonight was not as you expected.
Can I say something? This is
that's wild.
No coaches alerted officials. No referees noted any crowd disruptions that suggested racist behavior. This wasn't just a confirmation of the WNBA's findings. It was a devastating blow to the narrative, proving beyond doubt that the entire controversy was a social media fabrication, a ghost whispered into existence by unverified text posts, then amplified into perceived reality through the echo chamber of online discourse.
Quote, I get so much love in person. I've never had a negative counter in person ever. What did the league just go through 3 weeks ago? Over what was supposed to have been this race hoax. It turned out to be a race hoax, but this big situation in which the Indiana Fever fans were hollering racist remarks and making racist noises. In the league, 10 days this went on. This fiasco went on. And Angel Reese just admitted to the world she's never encountered a single negative person at all.
Then came the moment that changed everything. Angel Reese sat down for a post-game media session, appearing surprisingly at ease. Perhaps even a little too comfortable for a public figure who had spent weeks positioned as the central figure of a race-fueled controversy. The conversation drifted towards the intense scrutiny she faced online, and as she began to respond, something profound and unexpected occurred. Her body language subtly shifted. She leaned forward, speaking in a tone strikingly different from her previous carefully guarded statements about being targeted. With an unexpected candor, she uttered words that would instantly reverberate across the league. I get so much love in person.
Angel Reese, she goes on and she talks about how she doesn't hear about the outside noise, how she's never had a negative encounter in real life, never had a negative encounter in real life. But Ben, there's no way. There's no way she's never had a negative encounter, you see? You see, this is proof of the negative encounter. The WNBA even conducted an investigation about this negative encounter. No way Angel Reese said that. No way. She did.
I haven't ever had a negative encounter in person, ever. And I've been going through this for 3 years. I've never had an encounter in person that was negative. The words hung in the air, a stunning, almost unbelievable admission. For weeks, the public had been inundated with stories of her facing abhorrent, racially charged treatment from Indiana Fever fans. Media outlets had relentlessly run with narratives of hostile environments, portraying Reese as a victim desperately needing league protection.
Angel Reese doesn't care about y'all. Is what it is. She's never had a bad encounter in real life, never had a bad interaction with a fan in real life. Then what was the whole point of this WNBA sham investigation? If you never had a bad encounter with a fan in real life, if you've never had a bad interaction with a fan in real life, then why not just come out, earn yourself some brownie points and say, come on, nothing took place here. These are just some Twitter trolls. These are my Reese's Pieces making up news just to keep me relevant. Why didn't you just come out and say that, Angel Reese? You'd probably get a little bit more, what's that word? Respect. Doing something honorable like that.
But here she was, in front of cameras, live on television, stating the exact opposite, flatly contradicting the very victim narrative that had been so vigorously promoted and accepted as truth. It was a self-inflicted wound to a carefully constructed image, a moment of unfiltered honesty that shredded months of curated perception and exposed the stark reality beneath the surface.
I mean, what in the world is happening here? So Outkick would go on and say, hold up, let's rewind. Last June, Angel Reese claimed that a white Caitlin Clark fan blocked her and her teammates from entering a team hotel while calling her, quote, a ghetto bitch. Last month, Reese said she had a rough week because she heard a Fever fan shout racial slurs while she shot free throws. Now she says no one has ever said a mean word to her in person.
The immediate aftermath of Reese's casual confession was a frantic, desperate scramble by her PR team. Their attempts at damage control were swift, heavy-handed, and ultimately counterproductive. Press conferences were abruptly cut short. One-on-one interviews became rarer than a championship for a rebuilding team. And whenever Reese did speak to the media, team representatives hovered unnervingly close, ready to intervene if questions veered into uncomfortable territory. This over-the-top, almost suspicious level of protection only fueled public and journalistic curiosity.
But it's more fun pushing a lie. It's more fun playing along, keeping your name in the news, keeping your name in the media, keeping your name around drama. It's what you love. It's what you enjoy the best. You don't pay attention to keyboard warriors. You don't pay attention to the internet. Well, why would we respond to people that we don't care about? Why would we subtweet about people that you don't care about if their opinions don't matter?
Why such elaborate shielding if she was simply a victim of racist fans? Veteran journalists who had covered the league for decades remarked that they had never witnessed such careful management of a player's media interactions, subtly suggesting there was more to hide. But the unraveling went deeper than just suspicious PR. Reese's own troubling past actions began to resurface with renewed scrutiny. Screenshots of her reposting inflammatory TikTok videos that explicitly mocked Caitlin Clark after their college championship game resurfaced, alongside a particularly controversial one showing Clark labeled as "white girl running from the fade." Suddenly, her claims of online harassment and victimhood rang hollow, exposing a stark hypocrisy.
The WNBA investigated both Reese's accusations and found nothing. In fact, well, I've called her the Bubba Smollett, or the, Jussie Reese, Jussie Smollett, Bubba Wallace. I mean, she's right there now. She's in that company with false race hoaxes.
She was now claiming to be a target of the very online antagonism she herself had engaged in, sometimes even initiated. Her own defiant mantra, "hating pays too," once a badge of honor, now echoed with a chilling irony, exposing a player seemingly more interested in cultivating drama and controversy than pursuing genuine reconciliation or truth. The carefully built victim storyline wasn't just cracking, it was crumbling piece by painful piece, leaving her public image severely damaged.
Again, hell, I thought it was fake originally, and I guess it's not. I mean, it's crazy. White girl running from the fade. There's Angel Reese right there. There's, of course, Caitlin Clark doing the responsible thing, not wanting to tank her public relations, like Angel Reese walking away after the take foul the other night. Or the other day against the Chicago Sky.
The fallout from Reese's startling admission was swift and merciless, extending far beyond the confines of basketball Twitter. Media personalities who had initially championed Reese's claims, amplifying them without critical verification, suddenly found themselves in an agonizingly uncomfortable and embarrassing position. They had staked their credibility on a story that the WNBA's extensive investigation had utterly failed to substantiate, and now they faced a barrage of questions about their journalistic standards and integrity. Major networks like ESPN, a titan in sports broadcasting, endured one of their most humbling moments in recent memory.
Somebody that comes out and says hating pays too, I would think that that's exactly how she carries herself. Somebody that comes out and says, hey, hating pays too, yeah, that's kind of how Angel Reese carries herself. Somebody who goes out of their way and says, I want to be the villain. They're watching because of me too.
On-air personalities who had confidently discussed the racist fan allegations as established facts for weeks were visibly forced to perform an awkward on-air backtrack, acknowledging that the WNBA had found no evidence whatsoever to support those claims. Their perceived journalistic authority, once unshakable, took a substantial hit as millions of viewers watched them struggle to reconcile their prior confident coverage with the stark, inconvenient truth. Calls for apologies cascaded from all directions. Fans, particularly those of the Indiana Fever, demanded that major sports media outlets apologize for perpetuating unsubstantiated claims that had unfairly tarnished the reputation of their entire fan base.
She accused the Indiana Fever fan base of being racist. They investigated it. They said those accusations were false. The least that she could do is apologize to our great state and the fans that show up at these games and say, I'm sorry, I was wrong. Obviously, she's not going to do that.
The WNBA itself faced criticism for its initial hesitation, for allowing a false, damaging narrative to spread for weeks before delivering a definitive conclusion. But amidst the chaos and public outcry, one truth became undeniably clear. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever fan base emerged from this storm not just unscathed, but utterly vindicated. They had been unjustly targeted, falsely labeled as problematic, yet they handled the accusations with unwavering class and dignity, allowing the thorough WNBA investigation to speak for itself, rather than engaging in the toxic online fray.
I'm also happy that the WNBA treated the matter with the utmost seriousness, followed through with the investigation, and I understand that having a platform comes with a responsibility, and I do not take that lightly. So as our league continues to grow, I am going to grow with it. And I am so committed to be better in how I share perspectives and grow alongside the game that I truly love and adore. I mean, some of my favorite memories as a pro was playing in Indiana, and I truly believe that WNBA, we have the most passionate fans, and I'm grateful for our community. I hope you know that's who I am. All right. Love you guys. Thank you.
Angel Reese's credibility, once bolstered by a powerful, sympathetic narrative of victimhood, is now irrevocably tainted. Her accidental confession on live television, coupled with the WNBA's definitive findings and the undeniable resurfacing of her own past online antagonisms, paints a stark, unflattering picture of a controversy that was, at its very heart, entirely manufactured. She created a storm that never truly existed, needlessly damaged the reputation of innocent fans, and led major media outlets to spread what amounted to false information, leaving her own public image severely compromised. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever stand taller than ever, their integrity confirmed, their patience rewarded, their poised handling of baseless accusations a testament to their character.
Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever are the best gift that the WNBA has ever had. I mean, and the fans that show up and pack that place, I mean, sell out crowds every time Caitlin Clark plays. It's so great for Indiana, but it's good for the WNBA. But how dare you accuse our fans, the Hoosiers that show up at these games, being racist when they're not?
They navigated the false claims with quiet dignity, allowing the truth to emerge naturally, while Reese's team frantically and ultimately unsuccessfully scrambled to control a narrative that had already spiraled irrevocably beyond their grasp. The ripple effect of this saga will undoubtedly echo through the WNBA for seasons to come. Every future Fever versus Sky matchup will now be imbued with an undeniable crackling intensity, a silent yet potent acknowledgement of the truth that has been laid bare. It's no longer just a game, it's a clash of narratives, a stark reminder of the chilling power of social media to destroy reputations based on speculation, and a powerful lesson that even in the age of instant information and viral falsehoods, the truth eventually finds a way to surface and demand its reckoning.